Going to move on. We have wonderful spotlight speakers today. As Melissa said, we have Lisa Long and Ruby Brenner. They have been working on the Mississippi State University Early Childhood Echo, which is extension for community healthcare outcomes, and they're going to tell us all about that. We have 20 minutes allocated for these presentations. There'll be 10 minutes for the presentation and a 10-minute discussion afterwards, so you can ask questions. And Lisa, Callie will send you a 5-minute and 1-minute time warning reminder in private chat, so you'll know. And so I'm going to turn it over.
Great. Thank you. Let's see. Okay, great. I'll share my screen. Hello, everyone.
Hello, Lisa.
Let's see if I can get it on the... Okay, are you seeing the presentation slides? Okay, well, it's great to be here with you all. Thanks for the chance to present today about Early Childhood Echo. I'm Lisa Long, the project director of the Echo program for early childhood at Mississippi State. And I've got several people actually who are with me today. Ruby Brenner is going to be also presenting with me. She is the coordinator for the families who we work with Echo, but she and Michelle Gaither are the dynamic duo working very closely together. And Michelle is the point person for early childhood professionals and other types of professionals working with young children, but they work together. Also, Kathy Grace is a big part of our early childhood program, and Lauren Elliott. So I hope everyone will please jump in with any other information that I miss as I go along and talk to you about Echo, as Ruby and I do. But Early Childhood Echo, one of its mottos is moving knowledge, not people. And it is all virtual, always on Zoom. And it is a type of professional development that is completely online. And this picture here kind of illustrates the way that the Echo model works, where there's a specialist group that is sharing information out to those who are working within the community and have like the boots on the ground, so to speak, and then they are reaching the community members. But Project Echo, the Echo stands for Extension for Community Healthcare Outcomes. And it did start as a health development project that now is being used in education, early childhood, journalism, lots of different fields all around the world. But it was started by Dr. Sanjeev Arora, who was a hepatitis C specialist. And so I recently learned that's why the C is red in Echo for hepatitis C. But he was inspired to create this model when he very tragically lost one of his patients who had the individual received the kind of care that she needed much earlier, would have lived. But because her local healthcare provider in the rural part of New Mexico where she lived didn't have the information that he needed to treat her, unfortunately, by the time she received specialist care from Dr. Aurora, it was too late. So his dream was for specialist information and expertise to reach any part of the world, any rural area of states, and for specialists to also learn from those in rural areas or individuals working with community members, families, for them to get information that they normally wouldn't have access to themselves, being kind of in a university setting or not working as closely with individuals on the ground. So one of the big tenets also of Project Echo is that all teach, all learn. And you see this circular image where the knowledge is being shared between the specialists and then the professionals, or those working directly with families or children, and then the families themselves, and sharing the information around again. So Ruby's going to talk to you in a minute about how it actually looks within our ECHO sessions, but the goals of our project, and we did start with an ECHO for childcare providers in 2021, and the goals of that program are to improve the quality of care and education for young children, to offer concrete solutions and strategies as soon as we meet, and ideas and feedback for issues that they bring to us with behavior they're seeing themselves in the classroom, and also to create a supportive network of professionals who are sharing with each other, and then learning together about how to address challenges that we face in our day-to-day work. We also, with a new early childhood ECHO program that's expanded beyond just childcare providers, but other types of professionals working with families. We want to continue to increase developmental and behavioral health knowledge, and also to create a sustainable system for early childhood development and professional and family learning. So I'll turn it over to Ruby to talk a little bit about how it actually looks within our ECHO sessions.
All right, thank you, Lisa. All right, so I'll try to go quick since we only have 10 minutes, but like she said, I'm just going to talk a little bit about how we actually meet these goals that she has laid out, like, what do we actually do? So it is a free professional development. We offer it to the participants for free, and we're emphasizing rural outreach to address the challenges and disparities faced by children and families across the state. So we go on these calls via Zoom, and we have a team of specialists, so child psychologists, social workers, nurse practitioners, behavior specialists, speech language pathologists. We have a team of specialists, and we're trying to get the people in the state access to these specialists, but also access to one another via Zoom, all online, like we said. So we do the all teach, all learn strategy, where everybody on the call has an opportunity to share and give their input. You want to go to the next slide for me? Okay, so this is actually how it works. We meet once a week, or monthly or bi-monthly. We communicate with the agencies about what will work best for their group. How we've done it in the past is we meet once a week for 8 weeks for a 60-minute call. And so the agencies in the past, they, let me slow down. So the agencies in the past have said that they, oh my gosh. Okay. So we meet with the agencies to determine their preferences in terms of logistics. Like some groups want to get all the sessions done quickly. For instance, in our upcoming ECHO with CPS families and reunification, the families are trying to meet requirements and want to be done within 8 weeks. So we'll meet weekly, but CPS felt that resource for foster families may benefit from a once a month meeting time since they've already taken on a lot of responsibility voluntarily. So we meet we meet for 1 hour, and within that hour, participants receive a didactic or a mini presentation. Then one participant shares a case study, both of which I'll talk about a little bit more in the next slide. And we try to keep it less than 25 people on the call so that people won't hesitate to speak up and that they feel comfortable sharing. And then we have 2 specialists on each call. Okay, so like I said, we typically do 8 sessions. The first of 2, which we focus on like introductions and community building. Since we're asking people to be vulnerable and share challenges, we want to make sure that we're making an opportunity to build community. And then the last 6 sessions are what we call engage and learn sessions. And we follow this format. So we try to keep the model consistent, and that's one of the real strengths of ECHO. So here's this model. We do introductions and check-ins at the beginning. And then, like I mentioned earlier, we do the didactic or the mini presentation, and that's provided by one of the 2 or more specialists that we have on the call in the first 15 minutes. And then we do the case presentation. So before each session, this case presentation works, we send out a case form to collect relevant information about the child and the situation. And then We send that out to the specialists and the other participants on the call so that they can prepare some resources or feedback or some age-appropriate strategies. And then the case sharing flow comes after the didactic, and that's the same every time. So how that flow works is we open it up for clarifying questions first. From the specialists on the call, we let them ask clarifying questions. And an example of that would be like, is the child getting good sleep at night? Just things like details that can help us provide the best feedback possible. So we let the specialists answer the questions, and then we let the participants ask questions. And then we open it up for feedback or advice or resources. And we let the participants go first there, and then we let the specialists go first. Since we're trying to do this all teach, all learn, in the model, it's important to open it up for the participants on the call first, just so that everybody feels equal on the call and like they have a voice in the process. All right. And so here are some of the topics that we've covered. So milestones, autism, behavior, strategies for behavior management at home and at school, speech language. This isn't on the slide, but some of the cases that we've seen, this is really kind of the meat and potatoes of the thing, is the case study that we share. So we've had some where a mom felt unsure about how to communicate with the teacher in the classroom. So she got some guidance on how to go about that. There was one who a child was being suspended repeatedly on the bus. There was an at-home provider who was unsure about how to communicate with the parent. Like, she didn't want to step on any toes if the therapist was supposed to be communicating with the parent about autism concerns, dealing with tantrums. It's all sorts of different things that we see in these cases. Okay. On to the next. Here's the team. So there's me, Michelle, Lisa, Dr. Katerina Sergi is the evaluator. Lauren Elliott just joined us. Y'all know who she is. And then Bradley Long does the contracts. Jacob is our graphic design communications guy. And then Melissa Luckett was also on the team with us when we launched, and we couldn't launch without her. So shout out to Melissa. And then there's an Echo for childcare providers that Lisa runs. And this is the team for that. Dr. Kathy Grace, Rachel Tyrone, Gabrielle Banks. I'll let y'all look at those names. I saw we had 5 minutes, so I won't read every name to you. But here is kind of where we have reached. I think one of the really super cool things about Echo is that it was designed to reach people in hard to reach places. We went to a Meta Echo conference in New Mexico, and they talked about how the version of Zoom that they use is like a low broadband version. So even if internet connection is not the best, people can still get on these calls and have access to this information. I coordinated a session for Michelle one time from a truck stop parking lot when I was traveling. So like, it's just, that's one of the really cool things about Echo, is that, you know, we can reach people in rural areas and get them to access to these specialists and get them the information.
Yes. Thank you, Ruby.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, so here you see some of our partners. We could not do any of this work without them, so we're very grateful for all of our partners. And I'm going to move pretty quickly through these last slides, but I know Callie is planning to send them out, so you will have a copy if you're interested to read through them later on. Yes, as Ruby mentioned, Dr. Katerina Sergi is our evaluator and has done a great job of providing us with information that is very encouraging about the Early Childhood Echo project. And you see here that we were able to get 200 people signed up pretty quickly when the Early Childhood Echo project started last year. We've got some great quotes there. People do report that they have had a boost in their knowledge. This slide shows in blue, these are our professionals, and in orange, our family members. And this is their self-reported increase in the level of knowledge on topics presented during the Echo sessions. So we were encouraged with that. And here is, this is slides looking at perceived level of knowledge by cohort. So we've had 2 cohorts so far, one in the winter and then one that ended just this summer. This is a slide showing whether or not our participants would recommend ECHO to others. And at the end of every session, we do have a very short survey that we ask participants to complete. And one of the questions on that survey is what the likelihood is if they're recommending the program to others. And you see that professionals and families both said that they, out of 1 to 10, that they would be very likely to recommend ECHO to others. And for both the winter spring cohort and the spring summer cohort, those numbers were still high, almost 9 out of 10. So where are we now? Well, we're ECHO for childcare providers. We'll be starting up a new group in October and are excited to continue that program. We've had a great response from childcare providers interested in being a part of that. And for early childhood ECHO, we are reaching out to our agencies, making sure that we tailor the didactics and the information presented to what is most needed by their professionals and what they will most value and appreciate. We're also taking some deep dives into topics that they've told us they would like more information on, such as trauma and communication and behavior. And we will be looking towards the future. Our current funding for the Early Childhood ECHO project will end in July. So we are busy looking past July of next year for future funding and opportunities, and always looking for new partnerships with new agencies. And this slide just shows our funders so far, who we are so appreciative of. We've had all sorts of really great funding, and the Department of Human Services is our main funder for childcare providers, ECHO, and the HRSA project is our current funder for the early childhood ECHO with other types of professionals. So thank you, and we would love to try to answer any questions that you have. And if you scan that QR code, it'll take you to the Early Childhood ECHO website.
Thank you, Lisa and Ruby. We'll